Hi everyone, Tony Tonkin here from Child Protection Party. This is part of our series helping you to understand how it is that you can best deal with the department when they become involved in your life and are indicating to you that perhaps they wish to remove your children. I'm going to talk to you today about advocacy and the importance of having an advocate present with you so that you can best manage the situation regardless of how traumatic it may be. The reason why you need an advocate is that an advocate is a second voice. It's someone who can represent your views, who understands what's been happening for you and the impact that this has on you now that a child has been removed from you. It is someone who equals the numbers, if you like. So if you often go into a meeting with the department, you'll find that there'll be a couple of social workers and there'll be you or your partner present, and you will often find that you feel attacked by the department. An advocate is there to listen to what is happening, to take notes as to what is said, and to also record the appropriate outcomes that are developed by the department, to help to be clear with you about where the department are coming from and what their specific concerns are. We know that people tend to get lost in the confusion and the emotion that sits around having a child removed and just having the department involved in your life in the first place. So it's important to have someone independent who is there to listen to what is happening, who can relay that back to you in a way that you can understand, not just during the meeting, but also after the meeting when you sit down and have a conversation about what transpired. An advocate is there to be able to support you, to be there to emotionally support you during what is a very emotive time. An advocate can also present your views back to the department. Often we find that clients or parents are so emotionally involved in what is happening that they're unclear as to the processes that have taken place. An advocate should be somebody who is aware of the processes involved within the child protection system and inform you as best as they can about what those processes look like. An advocate's role is to be able to keep the sessions calm, to ensure that if you have something to say, that it is clearly articulated to the social workers. The department need to understand what's happening for you, and advocates sometimes can be that voice that can help the department to understand what's happening. An advocate is also there to be able to represent your views to other people within the child protection system. So you might find that, in fact, the social workers that you're working with are working in ways which you find inappropriate. The advocate can be there to highlight what those inappropriate behaviours might be and how it might be helpful for you to be able to articulate what it is that are your concerns, not just to them, the social workers, but to their supervisor, their manager, and to the department or even the minister. An advocate's role is to be able to make things clearer, to be able to present it in a written form or verbally in a way that perhaps many parents won't be able to. So our suggestion to you is that before you attend any meeting, make sure that you have an appropriate advocate with you. It is best for that advocate not necessarily to be a friend or someone that you've known for a long time who just simply sits in on meetings, but the advocate needs to have experience, understands the system, knows how it works, knows how to contact people and who they should be contacting. An advocate's role is vital in ensuring that parent has a voice, that they are heard and that they are understood. An advocate present within a meeting can ensure that that meeting is sensible, is realistic, and that we often find, or I find, that when an advocate is present, the meetings are different. people tend to behave themselves when they know that they're being watched by somebody else, particularly when they know that that advocate will take action if they behave, that is, the social workers in the department behave inappropriately. We find that when an advocate is present, the department social workers are usually on their best behaviour. Something happens when just a social worker is there just with the client. The client often feels bullied and intimidated. As a result of that, the client often responds in ways which are often unhelpful. An advocate can be there to make sure that that is evened out, that everybody, including the client, is behaving appropriately. When I work with a client, I will often tell them, these are the rules, these are the things that you're supposed to do in order to have a voice, in order to be heard. And one of the things that I guess most people find distressing is that I'll often say to them, you can't afford to be emotional, you can't afford to cry, and you can't afford to get angry, because that will often be used against you. And it isn't about being completely emotionless. It's about expressing emotions in appropriate ways, and particularly by finding ways to talk about how you're feeling about this particular process. So there are ways by which this can be done in a more meaningful, contextual way, I think, than necessarily getting angry, calling people names, making accusations about workers and others, which are generally pretty damn unhelpful. So, my advice to you is that you find someone who you can work with, who has experience around advocacy, and who understands the system, and someone that you feel comfortable with in talking about what's been happening for you. So before you actually have these meetings with the department, it's important to get to know your advocate, to talk to them about the things that are worrying you, that are concerning you, and to let go of all the anger and the fear and the resentment and all the other things that might be happening to you. Let them go with the advocate. Talk to the advocate about those things, your frustrations. Get them out of the way before you actually go into a meeting. And know that the advocate is there to support you. I've often said to people, if you act badly, it's not going to help your session at all, and the department are going to be thinking worse of you. So don't act badly, and if you do start to say or do things that I think are inappropriate, I will let you know. And there are times when I've actually supported the department with some of their views because the client or the parent is acting so badly that it isn't helping their case at all. And I certainly won't tolerate putting the social workers down or being extremely negative about the social workers themselves. I suggest there are limitations around the skill set and the knowledge base that even some of the social workers have, but that's no reason to be attacking them specifically. We must remember that even though some of them might be ill-equipped to do the job, they are doing the best that they can under the circumstances they find themselves. So don't attack them. Sit down, find out what the details are in relation to what's happening for you, and I've talked about this in other videos. Gather information, have someone there to support you, and work through what the problems are as presented by the department. I hope that's helpful. If you've got any other issues or you want to talk to me further about any of these things, you can contact me on the email address below. Thanks very much for being with me. Take care, look after yourselves, and be safe.